edge is right there.
Today we've come to a place that is often overshadowed by the Cologne Cathedral, which is very strange because we have come to visit the world's tallest church.
Today we are in Ulm, Germany, and we're right in front of the world's tallest church. So this is first on our list today, but there are also a lot of other things we plan to go see here in Ulm today. So we were a little confused because online it said that this church opens at 9 a.m., but we got here a little after 9, it wasn't open, but outside it says it's open at 10. So we have a few minutes to walk around, but luckily there's this really nice Saturday morning farmer's market kind of thing right out front, so we're gonna go check that out a little bit and then head into the church. Maybe we'll be the first ones.
So we made it into the staircase going up to the top of the steeple here. Now, like we were saying, the steeple is the tallest in the world. It's 161 point something meters tall. And we're climbing to the very top to get an amazing view over the city. And it's 768 steps to the top. So we have quite the climb ahead of us. But getting in was really easy. It's all just automated. There's an automated machine and you just pay €5 to get in. And then also the turnstile is right there that you just scan your ticket to come up. So it's very easy, not too expensive, but you do have to climb a lot of stairs and you're spinning and spinning and spinning going up. So it's quite dizzying and a little challenging. Whoa.
Is it supposed to be stairs like this the whole way?
Yep. I think so. Okay.
Heart's pounding.
Yeah. Always top.
I think we're almost there.
Can we go higher? Or is this like the highest?
It sounded like they were walking on stairs over there.
Oh, okay.
So let's go see. It's here for us.
We didn't put this here, but it was a nice greeting for us. One of the nice things is though, the way you spin does change a couple of times along the way. So if you get dizzy one way, you reverse it and then get dizzy that way and then reverse it. But I think we just made it to the top finally, so the spinning can stop.
Some more stairs.
What? Oh no, there's more.
Whew. We made it up to this 360-degree viewing platform where you can see the city of Ulm all around. It's huge and beautiful, and this is a great view. And it looks like in the middle here there is a single staircase to take us up about 20 more meters to the very top. So that is where we're headed next. What's up? My fear of heights is kicking in. Whew. It's so narrow. The edge is right there.
So we made it to the very, very top. And it is very narrow. This one single staircase, it is not just one way. People going up and down, so sliding past each other is very difficult. And once you get to the top, you're standing at a point that was once the tallest place on a building in the world. And the views are incredible. They're very unobstructed, 360 degrees up here. But if you don't like heights, it's not really for you.
I'm okay.
views up here are incredible, and it's really cool getting to look down over the city and seeing all the red roofs, the market going on down below, and the people walking around. And you can also see the shadow of this massive steeple over the city, which is so neat. And then all around here, just the architecture is just mind-boggling. Seeing all of this and all the gargoyles everywhere, which is really, really cool. But there is one gargoyle that looks like they are trying to keep from escaping, or maybe he has already made an attempt because they've got him netted up and tied up to the top of the steeple here. And just like that, you see how narrow this is, and someone coming up and you going down. It's a little bit tight. It's hard to squeeze by and get past each other to go either direction.
Now that we've made it back to the 360 view area where I feel a little more safe and our legs are nice and shaky, we're gonna start making our trek back down to the bottom and then see the actual inside of the cathedral. We're gonna go in there and learn more about that and let you know what we find. Keep going. Oh my gosh. Do it again. That scared me so bad. Let's go, let's go.
So we just got done climbing to the top of the steeple, and now we're back down amongst the farmers market, which is really, really cool to see. And we're going to go inside the church and show you the inside of it. But before we do that, we want to give you a little bit of information of what we learned online before we came here. We're not historians ourselves, so all the information we have is just what we found online. So first, this church was started being built in the 1300s and wasn't completed for 500 years until 1890, which we saw on the top of the steeple. There was a little plaque that said 1890, which makes sense because that was one of the last parts that was built, was the top of the steeple. And at that time, in 1890, this was the world's tallest building, is in general, and then that quickly got passed, and then it became the world's tallest church, and that is what it currently stands as, the world's tallest church at 161 and some change meters. However, once the Sagrada Familia is completed in Barcelona, this will no longer be the world's tallest church, but it'll at least be the world's tallest church. No, it won't be that. It'll be Germany's tallest church, which is still really, really cool. Whenever they started construction here, this started out as a Catholic church, and then it later became a Protestant church during the Reformation in the 1500s. Now this also, I keep saying church because this isn't a cathedral. We've learned that a cathedral has to be a seat of a bishop, or where a bishop once had a seat, and this never has had that, so it's the Ulmer Minster, and so not Ulmer Dom like the cathedral in Cologne. And then the Cologne Cathedral is a little bit shorter than this, but it's a lot wider and a lot darker, and so this one looks quite a bit different from that one, but that one is a lot more visited, I think because of its sheer size and width and also height. But this one's really interesting because the construction on the outside has a lot of brickwork that's visible. I don't know if a lot of these were constructed by brick, but this one you can see a lot of it, and it's really interesting just thinking about the thin brick rather than huge stone blocks that they could have used to construct it. It seems like it would have taken a lot longer to do it this way, and I don't know the reasons behind that, but it's really kind of cool to see and really unique. Yeah. Oh yeah. And also during World War II, Ulm was pretty well flattened and destroyed all around it, but this was not really hit. I think some of the windows were shattered out, but the structure itself remained. So with all that being said, and a little bit of background history of this church, let's now go inside and check it out.
This church had a lot of very interesting and unique things inside of it that I haven't seen in a lot of churches before. So the first thing that stuck out to me was a lot of almost militaristic symbolism inside of it, such as a lot of coat of arms. There were a lot of knights' helmets in some of the different carvings and paintings throughout the church. Another thing that I thought was very fascinating was there's this huge statue that was hanging up of the Archangel Michael, and we read on a plaque below it that said that this was sort of a controversial statue that people did not want put up because The sword was raised up high as if going into battle, and people thought that was too menacing to be inside of the church. But whenever the National Socialist regime came in power, aka the Nazis, they really wanted it in the church. So they voted to put it up there, and they put it in. There also are a lot of statues throughout the church of different important thinkers and artists and musicians like Johann Sebastian Bach. There are also lots of world leaders and rulers, but then there were also important church figures such as Martin Luther, who led the Reformation. The stained glass was also just very intricate throughout. I really liked trying to see all the different pieces in it, and even a lot of the carvings and paintings throughout. And on the ceiling there were lots of paintings, so just very artistic and almost museum feeling church. The light from the sun coming through the stained glass was reflected all throughout the church on the walls, and that was really beautiful and colorful throughout the church.
So after checking out the Ulmer Minster all morning long, I mean, we got there a little bit after 9, waited for it to open until 10, and then it is now noon, and we've walked over to the Fischerviertel, which is the fisherman's quarter. And this part of Ulm is beautiful. Tons of half-timber frame buildings right along the river, so there's lots of really cool places to eat and just walk around and see, and also really cool little bridges that are scattered throughout over the river in the city here. So a really cool area just to walk around and just soak up. It just feels very quaint and small, just so beautiful.
Fisherman's Quarter has beautiful half-timbered houses all around and bridges that go back and forth over the little river. And there's also little ramps that look like you can put boats in. So I'm just imagining fishermen way back in the day all along this area. And this is the leaning house. You can tell why it got its name because it is leaning out over the little river and looks like it's about to fall right in, but really cool looking.
One of the last stops that we wanted to make here in Ulm was to the birth home of Albert Einstein. Fun fact, Albert Einstein was born in Ulm, but his family actually moved like 6 weeks, I think is what I read online, after he was born. So technically, yes, he was born here, but it's not like this was his home. But anyways, his birth home also was destroyed during World War II. So all that was left was just like a little memorial where they just have a little statue that says, here's where Albert Einstein was born. And we came all the way over here just to see that little statue. But there's a lot of construction going on, and I can't say with 100% certainty, but based off of Google Maps, it looks like inside that wooden plywood box is where the memorial is. So now you know, that's where Albert Einstein was born.
Right behind the church is the old Rathaus. In this building.
So unfortunately, as I'm putting together this video, I have realized out of all of our clips, this one did not have the audio completely captured. But to sum up what Aubrey is saying here, one of the last stops that we made in Ulm was visiting the Ulm Rathaus, And it is an incredible building that was built in 1370, and it has the Ulmer Minster in the background, and then all these incredible paintings and an astronomical clock on the outside of it. The paintings look like they depict a lot of stories from the Bible as well as we think German history. It is one of the coolest rathouses and buildings in general that we have seen in Germany. Definitely worth checking out.
There's one final thing that we are going to do while we're in Ulm. However, we're not going to show that in this video. We're going to do a whole other video specifically devoted to this.
So you got to be sure to subscribe and check out our videos next week because we have a really exciting theme that we're going to be talking about that is special here in Germany. And we're really excited to share this one because it's something that we are very passionate about. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button, also subscribe. We would love to see you next week and in more of our videos. We'll see you soon.
Cheers.
I have never been right next to the, I almost fell.
Are you filming me blow my nose? All along this area.
This is the leaning house.
Oh yeah, important. And this is the leaning house.